I thought I would go over the Chapter 15 study guide, at least give a few tips, since you won't be in class today to ask me questions about it. So let's go over a few things. Here's the first one, true or false. One way to understand absolute value is as the difference between two numbers. That one's true. Here's the next question. Another way to understand absolute value is as the positive of whatever quantity is inside the absolute value bars. Also true. I think you know this next one. It's going to be 11. On this problem right here, the nice people that wrote your book already factored it for you, but you need to change it into multiplication. You're going to do that by multiplying and flipping this one upside down so that you're multiplying by 10 over x minus 2. There will be some things that you can cancel. In this system of equations, I don't want you to use the app on your calculator, but let's come up with a strategy. What if you multiplied this top equation by 3 and this bottom equation by -2? That way you'd end up with a -6y and a +6y. Make sure you do it to everything in both equations though. Remember to subtract first inside the absolute value bars, and whatever your answer is, make it positive. In this one, you're looking for like terms that can be combined. I think you should combine the xy squared terms. So you're going to combine 1/7 minus 3/7. Don't touch the exponents. You've been solving equations like this all year long. I don't think you're going to have any problems. You'll probably need to change sides and change signs. On this one, I recommend you get your x's on the left, numbers on the right. Just remember, if you ever multiply or divide by a negative, flip the inequality. In this one, it's all about the critical points. So make sure that you use open circles. It's less than, you're going to shade in between and treat it as an equal sign and solve this. I'm going to actually write this one out for you. It would be 3x squared plus 16x plus 5 less than 0. I'm even going to try and factor it for you. Let's see if we can do it. And I'm going to treat it as an equation. This would be x plus. I'm looking for factors of 15 that subtract to make 16. So how about, actually, that's factors of 15 that add to make 16. So how about 15 and 1? Can you tell that your critical points are -15 and -1? Those would go on the number line, and we would actually want open circles. So I'm going to do that and do an open circle and another open circle. This one would be -15, and this one would be -1. So it would be x, oh, and we're shading in between. So this is an and inequality. It would be something like this. -15 less than x less than -1. Okay, let's look over here. Remember, for an absolute value equation, you would write two equations. 2x minus 3 equals 5. 2x minus 3 equals -5. Solve them both. All right, here is another one about shopping trips. Two equations. I will even write them out. Let's see, what would it be? If we let the geraniums cost X and the tulip bulbs cost Y, looks like it would be 5x plus 10y equals 1250. And the other equation would be 7x plus 11y equals 1450. You can use the app on your calculator to solve these, and you would probably want to leave your answer as decimals because we're talking money here. Do you see that this is the difference of two squares? Do you remember how you do difference of two squares? This would be two sets of parentheses to factor. And this one down here is just filling in. You want to solve for V. You want to solve for V, and you would replace pi with 3.14. You would replace R with 8, and you would use your calculator to do the math. Solve for E. I think I would cross multiply. Think of that as being over 1. You would have 2em equals p squared. And then you would need to divide by 2m and divide by 2m. E equals p squared over 2m. Solve the system. I would substitute on this one. We could put x squared minus 4 in place of this y. It would go right in there. It would look like this. X squared minus 4 equals 2x minus 1, or x squared minus 2x minus 3 equals 0. That could then be factored. We would have x plus, x minus, it would be the 3 would go there and the 1 would go there. X equals negative 1, x equals 3. For every x, you need a y. Put this negative 1 in for x. So y would equal negative 2 minus 1, which would be negative 3. Put this 3 in for x, and that would be y equals 5. So you get two ordered pairs, negative 1, negative 3, and 3, 5. Graph the system of equations. Now, to graph, you really want y to be by itself. So this would be y greater than negative x plus 5, and the other one would be negative y less than negative 2x plus 3. I'm going to multiply by negative 1, which is going to flip my inequality, y greater than 2x minus 3. Now in this itty bitty graph, I'm going to have a really hard time. I'll give it my best, but let's see what we can do. On this first one, it crosses at 5, 1, 2, 3, oh, too tiny, 5 maybe right there. And it has down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, and we need a dashed line. And it says greater than, so I'm going to shade. Not doing too good on my shading. There we go. Above. Now this one is y greater than 2x minus 3. Let's see what we can do. It crosses at negative 3, and it has a slope of 2, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, and another dashed line. And we're going to shade above the line. And so it's this region up here where they overlap. That's our solution. Just a few more problems. Another one where we have to get y by itself. This one, the top one, y is by itself. This other one would be y less than or equal to negative 2x plus 6. I am going to graph the top one first, and it crosses at negative 4, right there, slope of 3, up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1, and this time we get to use a solid line. I put my pencil on the line. I go vertically upward for y to be greater than, which puts me on that side. I'm going to shade everything on that side of the line. And then for this one, let's see, it crosses at 6, should be right about there. Negative 2 is the slope, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, and another solid line. This time less than, I put my pen on the line, I move vertically downward, I see which side of the line I'm on, and I start shading. And now you can see where the shaded regions overlap, and that is the solution. Right, in this next one, two equations, x minus 4 equals 13, x minus 4 equals negative 13. Are you going to get tricked on this one? Let me point out. Absolute value can never be negative. No solution. On this next one, I'll give you a tip to get you started. If you were to factor right here, it would be 3 times x minus 4, which means you need to multiply everything by 3x times x minus 4. Here, 3x times x minus 4 and 3x times x minus 4. What would that look like? Let me just do the canceling. That x cancels with that. 3x cancels with 3x. The 3's cancel, and the x minus 4's cancel. So our new equation would be 3x minus 12 plus 4x minus 16 equals 5x. I'll let you do the rest. X is on one side, numbers on the other. Here we have another absolute value inequality. It's all about the critical points. I even gave you a place to put those critical points. You're going to use closed circles. It's less than, you're going to shade everything in between. To find those critical points, you are going to write 2x minus 8 equals 10, 2x minus 8 equals negative 10. So this first one would be 2x equals 18, x equals 9. 2x equals negative 2, x equals negative 1. Negative 1 for that critical point, 9 for that one, and here's our final inequality. It's an and inequality. Negative 1 less than or equal to x, less than or equal to 9. We're almost to the end. Right, here's another absolute value inequality right here. I'm going to write, there's going to be an open circle, it's greater than, we shade to the outside. 5x plus 3 equals 17. 5x plus 3 equals negative 17. 5x equals 14. X equals 14 fifths. 5x equals negative 20. X equals negative 4. So the negative 4 goes here. The 14 fifths goes here. And our final inequality would be x less than negative 4, or, because this is an or inequality, x greater than 14 fifths. Let's see. That is it. So those are my hints for the problems from this study guide. Please contact me if you have questions on any of these study guide questions, and I'll be posting the test next week. Thanks so much.